morning.
So I'm gonna pass these around. I want you guys to look at these boxes and just kind of look at these two packages and pass them around. And some of them could have something wrong with them. Some of them may not. But just if you see something wrong with them, just make a mental note for me. And if you don't see anything wrong, make a mental note as well. Well, usually this one is full.
It's actually in there.
Monday? I think it's Monday. He's on vacation.
Switzerland.
Okay, one more.
I don't get on Facebook that much, so.
You get all jealous. He's on the mountains in the snow and everything. Hiking everywhere.
Yeah, he gets a lot of reward points, so we use it on flights.
I know what it is.
Got it?
Yeah, no tells that one. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Like I said, may or may not be anything wrong with them, they may be perfectly normal. So while you guys looking at that real quick, let's give you kind of an information on what we're doing. Is Tracy asked me and Bryce, well, yeah, she asked Bryce to start training meetings with Cap 1, Cap 3, mod team, anybody who's touching freight, to make sure that everybody has the same information and that everybody's on the same processes. We're also going to include Cap 2 to make sure. So when she talked to Bryce, Bryce pulled me in, and we both agreed that this is a necessity thing to do. Unfortunately, this morning we're having a visit, so Bryce is out doing some things he needs to do to get ready to visit. So I'll be running the meeting today. We're gonna have two of them this morning. This one will be about 45 minutes long, and then we'll have the rest of the third shift team and the rest of Cap 1 come in. And then we'll have one more here in a couple weeks when we can get the people who are off and who are not here to make sure everybody has that same information. And then we're gonna go to second shift to work with the Cap 2 team to make sure they have the same information. The main thing is what's gonna happen in about 2 months from now.
Oh, what's gonna happen?
Yep, what's gonna happen?
Inventory?
Inventory is on May 11th, and we have to start getting ready for that now. How many of you guys were here last year for inventory?
I'm 2 months in.
Okay, so you guys pretty much remember what it was like? We were prepping the day before inventory, lining up pallets in the back room. You guys know, because I called you all back there saying we need to fix this, we need to get that. My commitment this year is we're not doing that. We're gonna be prepped for inventory 2 weeks out, 100% ready. All we're gonna do is unload trucks, stock the trucks, put the stuff in the bin. And that's why it's so important to have this meeting and to train you guys and get you everybody on the same page, so that when we're going into inventory. So 2 dates I want you to have in mind. First date is April 28th. That is about 2 weeks out from inventory. April 28th is the deadline to having the back room bins 100%, or the whole back room 100% inventory ready. That's the commitment I made to Tracy to make sure that's gonna happen. And is it feasible? Yeah, it's very feasible, because we're a lot farther ahead than we was this time last year. Those who were here this time last year know we couldn't even get in the back room because we had freight all over the place.
I remember.
And we have made strides, big, huge strides, to get there. We got us there, we're maintaining it, and we're going forward at this point, and we're gonna make sure that we stay in that position. The other date I want you to know, have in your head, is April 14th, that's 2 weeks prior. We are gonna have all the top of the steel done and prepped and ready for inventory. So a month out, top of the steel done, 3 weeks out, back room ready. So top of the steel, I'm not stressed about. I chose the 14th for a reason, because one, Easter is on the 9th. That gives us time to get the Memorial Day flowers out. It gives, come on, Woody. Yeah, you come over here. I've already started.
I'm late to the
I'll
party.
give you the dates later, but you've already seen my email, so.
Yeah.
The 14th gives us 2 weeks, a week or so after Easter to get the Memorial Day flowers out, get the summer toys out, and then that should leave us about 6 pallets on the top of the steel. The only thing that I haven't got a date on and set in my head yet is how do we get the apparel racks ready, and we're still working on that and get those done. But everything that we want to do is start to get everything lined up and ready to go so we meet that 28th deadline. And like I said, if we get to that point, then our jobs are so much easier. Because we know we're not getting a truck the night before inventory. So my goal is for you guys to be able to come in on third shift and do what you're supposed to do and just zone that day.
A lot of zoning. I know that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that way it makes y'all's job easier, it makes my job easier, it makes Cap 1's job easier, Cap 2's, they don't unload, so they're zoning all day as well. So we just come in here, count, zone, you guys have an easy night, and we're ready for inventory. We get a good count in the store, we have good inventory results, and there's a lot of benefits the long way through on that, so. That's the whole reason what this meeting is to try to get everybody on the same page. We are sitting in prime position right now. We get lots of kudos from the market team about how good our back room looks, and yeah, we're making decisions like we made last night where we're not gonna work the GM freight, we're gonna get that tonight. We always get caught up. We have that commitment amongst you guys, amongst Cap 1, that we're going to get caught up. So, we just got to get to that point, and we just gotta maintain from here on out and make sure we get to that point, so. All right, so real quick, the 2 boxes I passed around, well, 1 box and 1 package. Let's talk about this package here. Did anybody find anything wrong with the, whatever those are? Are they gloves, household gloves? Did anybody find anything wrong with those?
Honestly, I
No.
couldn't.
Nothing wrong with that box? Nothing at all?
I mean, other than you can't really stack it that well.
Right.
I mean,
That's something we
yeah.
can manage.
Should
We
the
can
sticker
still
be on the
misfig
front?
it. What's that?
Only thing I can think of, should the sticker be on the front?
No, it's kind of difficult with that kind of packaging where the sticker goes. Technically, that kind of item should be in a Waco, but it's scannable. It's in pretty good shape. I know you guys didn't get a chance to look at that. So the box. Did anybody find anything wrong with the box?
Case quantity,
Case quantity, what did it say?
said 1.
It says 1. Okay, so go back to that. Somebody open that up for me and count that.
I thought I counted 6.
I thought I counted 5, but
If you counted 5, you counted correctly because I took
counted
1 out.
That's what it
Yeah.
was.
And the reason I intentionally set that one up, I have the other one next door so I can get it back to the way it's supposed to be. I intentionally set that up because it's deceiving on what you put in the bin and what you see. So it's very important to make sure that the BizPick label, the first part of what I want to talk about is the BizPick process and BizPick. We want to make sure that the labels say exactly what's in the package. If it's not a full case, we can't put it in the bin. With the exception, Home Office has changed some things. There are a few departments that can have partial cases, and that is
Yeah, I saw it.
97, meat, produce, and there's a few departments that are trickling in that we can do that. Bakery is another one. And that's a completely different part of the process that we're still learning. I just figured it out a couple weeks ago, but it's part of the BizPick process. But if it's not a full case, the rule of thumb is don't put it in the bin. We need to put it on top stock. But we need to find out where we can go with it, or we need to make sure it's a full case. If it's not an out on the shelf, like yesterday they asked me, what do we do if one will go out? If it's not on the shelf, if it's not an out, and you can't put the full case out, and you can't put the other one on the top stock, then leave the case full. I'm probably gonna pull it back out of the bin, yes, but if it goes into one of these bins, it has to be a full case. So, the reason I pulled that one specifically out of the bin. I had nothing to do with that, that's how that was binned. That's the second box in 2 days that we pulled out, that has that case. When we're making those BizPick labels, on thirds, we need to make sure that we're looking at it, because it defaults and gives you options. We need to make sure we're using the right option. It's automatically gonna default to whatever the top one is, but we need to make sure that if it says 1, is it really 1 in the case, or is it 6? Is it really 6, or is it 48? We just have to look at that, take a few moments to break it down, and to make sure that we're doing that correctly. Because when we scan it for inventory, that's inventory in 1, we're gonna shrink out 5, and the inventory's gonna change, the system's gonna think we have 1 when we actually have 6. So taking that time to just break it down, slowing down a little bit, and I know there's coaches on thirds that's like, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Yes, we do have to go, we have to push it, but we do have to make sure we're being accurate. So when you're viz picking, what items do you viz pick? Put a viz pick label. What items do you not put a viz pick label on?
I mean, BizPic's an overstock label?
Huh?
Overstock label, that's what you're calling a BizPic label?
That's a viz pick label, yes.
Okay, I mean, really, anything that doesn't go on the floor that's in a box that cannot fit gets BizPic, that way it can be picked out
Not
when
true.
it's needed.
Not true.
Not true?
Not true, but I'm glad you said that, because
Yeah.
that's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, cause I thought.
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
same
say,
thing,
that's-
so
that's
now
what I was
I'm
told.
not even
And
lying.
that's part of the problem, because here's what happens. You put a viz pick label on every single thing. Do you know what the viz pick label's for?
I thought I did, but then.
You guys should know what's the viz pick label for. Oh, Lordy. They should know. Viz pick label is to locate it. So when I'm scanning the bins.
Oh, the
it
little green
locates
box.
it. Right. Well, it tells me where it's at. It tells the system where it's at. So we have an associate up at ODP, Online Delivery and Pickup. They're out there doing their pick, and they come up to an item and it's out on the shelf. And they look at their handheld and it says, oh, it's in location 7, da-da-da-da-da-da, and it tells them it's in this location. So they come back here to this location, there's that box, they pull it out and fill that label. That tells us the location. If they don't have a location like that, so what it does is they meal pick it, which tells the system we don't have it. There's another system called ISA that is inventory, whatever, I don't know what the name of it is, but it tracks our inventory. If it's meal picked and it doesn't have a location, ISA will zero it. So they don't have it. So it gets zeroed, and then what happens?
You get ordered
Yeah,
more.
The system drops below the order point, the system orders another case, and we have another case coming to the back room that we don't need. So, what do you viz pick and what do you not put a viz pick label? If it's not going in a bin, and those of you who work on the GM side will know this more, if it's not gonna go in the bin, such as new mod, we don't bin that. And features, we don't bin those. We don't put a viz pick label on it. Because if you put a viz pick label, and we don't scan it into the bin, and we scan every single day, we're between 98 and 99, 100% every day on viz picks before I leave it too. If it's not scanned in the bin in 18 hours, you know what happens? It purges that label and drops that label out of the system. So you just spent time putting a label on a box that doesn't exist anymore.
Nice.
So if you're not gonna put it in the bin, the rule of thumb, if it's not going to go in the bin, it's not gonna get this big label. So, only things would be, like I know there's sometimes you guys have overstock, like in the freezer and the dairy cooler, that's not gonna go in the bin. This pick it, because it's gonna go in the bin.
Right.
But if it's a feature, we're not this picking it. If it's a new mod, we're not this picking it. It's like all those new mod pallets sitting in that back row, which I know they're all back there. That's gonna come out in a few weeks, but right now, we're not this picking it. So there's absolutely no reason for any of that stuff to get a this pick label. There's no need in wasting our time putting a label on it, because in 18 hours, it drops out.
Alright, so one thing for you. So I got in a bunch of, I was in Frozen, I think it was last week, we got a bunch of something in, like 15 cases of something, and it was going on a future feature. So would that still not be VizPicked, even though I didn't know that that's for a future feature? Or
Did you
would
put it in
we
the bin?
just, yeah,
Then it gets this.
yeah. I mean, I, like,
If
I
you're gonna
just,
put it in the
like,
bin.
I tagged it and I put it in there, but
Yep.
again, I did 15 labels, I figured that was going on a future feature.
As long as you made each individual label and not
Yeah.
repeated the label.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're good.
Alright.
Yeah, as long as it's going into a bin. So if you know that you have a feature and you're gonna put it in the bin, then we viz pick it.
Okay.
If it's not gonna go in the bin, we don't viz pick it. Because what happens is, there's several reports, and I know I've broken it down with my team, and I'll break it down to anybody who wants to see it. I do a lot of reports in the morning. The big one is the viz pick report, and one of the things it shows me is how many purge labels we have a day. We in this store average, besides yesterday for some reason we spiked to 600. We average about 150, 200, low end 60, 70, the purge labels a day. Not bad when you go into other stores. 600 is huge, and usually that means we've done something, and I can explain why we have a spike in the purge labels. Like, we should have a spike in purge labels today in grocery because we dumped the grocery bins and we didn't pick it. But my goal in this store is to have us under 200 every day. And it's just, all that's doing is telling the system that we've located it, we have it, the system knows, ODP knows. If an associate on second shift's out there scanning something, the customer goes, hey, do you have this? Oh yeah, it's back here in the bin, they can go get it, pull it out, pull the shelf. We're gonna have purge labels because we're gonna pull stuff from the bin without picking it. That's just part of retail, and that's what we're gonna do, we're gonna take care of the customers. Those don't bother me, it's when we create purge labels for, like, if you do a feature over in Heartland, say we got a feature in, clothes hangers. And we put a label on every box, and you guys take it to the back, which is what you're supposed to do, and then my team comes in, and I go, hey, David, I need you to go build a feature of hangers. So David takes this pallet out, and he goes out and he builds his feature of hangers. Well, we never picked those, because we just stuck them out. Those are all purge labels. The system will purge them in 18 hours. So we've gotta cut the purge labels down, but we only wanna make sure that the labels that are on there are correct, and are illuminated correctly. So the BizPick process is a very simple process, and I'll be glad to, these guys know it. And I'll refer to my team a lot because when it comes to BizPick, they know it better than anybody in the building because they do it. Let me tell you what the BizPick process is supposed to be, and let me tell you why we do it the way we do it. The BizPick process is, my opinion is Cap 2 is the start of all shifts. You know, people say first shift, second shift, third shift. In a Walmart world, first shift starts at 2 o'clock when we unload trucks. If we don't unload those trucks correctly, and you guys come in and say, you have to finish unloading a truck, which is not what you guys do, but if they're Cap 2's behind, you all are behind. So Cap 2's job is supposed to be, is they're supposed to come in, they're supposed to unload the trucks, they're supposed to stock the carts that are, I can't remember what they're called, but they have.
HB?
No, not the HVDC, but the carts that are outs, the out carts.
Okay.
They're supposed to stock the out carts, they're supposed to zone the store, and they're supposed to BizPick consumable bins, which would be these pets, paper goods, chemicals, and grocery bins. They're supposed to pick it, have it on the floor ready for you guys to come in. Cap 3 comes in, your job is to stock the freight. You're also supposed to do BizPick GM bins, and then handle all the freight. We're supposed to come in and handle what you guys don't finish, work top stock in consumables only, so we're only supposed to work top stock in paper goods, pets, chemicals, front wall, and grocery. That's all the top stock we're supposed to work. That's all we're supposed to do is features in the top stock. We have changed and modified that in this store a little bit because the average Cap 1 team is only supposed to be 3 people a day. I have 8 today, 7, 8 today. On an average day, I have 5 to 6 people a day. So I'm way overstaffed. So what we have done to compensate for that, saying that we're overstaffed, is we've taken on the BizPick process. We've taken it away from you guys, we've taken it away from Cap 2. One, it gives Cap 2 time, so Cap 2 don't have to do that. Now they can work the HVDC truck. So they get the HVDC truck done, they get the truck unloaded, and then you guys come in and all you gotta do is stock the frozen dairy truck and the GM truck. And you don't have to BizPick because we've already done it, you just gotta run the BizPicks. So we've taken that on and saying, okay, Cap 1's gonna do this to free this up and this shift and this shift. So we've done a little bit different in the store. Are they wanting us to get back to the process? Yeah, they do. Are we doing it? No, we're not doing it right now, not until it's really forced on us. Because right now it's working for us. Look at our back room. So that's what the BizPick process is supposed to be, but as long as Cap 1's overstaffed the way it is, we're gonna continue to run the BizPick process on day shift to get it done for you guys. Because that's the right thing to do. But we just gotta make sure, and in BizPick, if you ever wanna see us doing it or wanna know how to do it, just grab us, we'll show you, it's real easy. You basically take your camera and scan the bin, it hits every one of those labels and pull it out. So that's why it's so important to make sure that those labels are correct. There's a lot of times that the labels are too light, they won't scan. So we gotta make sure that they're darker labels. It doesn't matter if they're a big label or a small label, long as they have the 2 blocks. There's a lot of times that half the block is on the second one. If they can't scan them, we're pulling them right back out. And what are we doing? We're pulling it out. You guys are getting it back. You make a new label, we're putting it right back in the bin. So it's very important that we take the time to make sure that those labels are scannable, that the labels are correct, and that the labels have the correct count on them. When I'm BizPicking myself, I know my team doesn't do it, but I kind of look and see, when did the box go in the bin? Is it something we put in the bin last night? Is it a training issue? Why am I pulling out 30 boxes that we just put in the bin last night? And I'm deep diving into those questions because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but that label if we scan that label, the barcode part of it, like if Braxton comes by and he scans it, he can tell you exactly who printed that label. He can tell you who printed the label, when they printed the label, what day they printed the label. So it's very important that that label is very accurate. And we're getting ready to go into the bins, deep dive, and making sure all those labels are correct. And so this pick process, Walmart has put a lot of money into it, and it's probably one of the best processes that they have actually created in a long time because it's so simple and it works. They put so much into it that the next process for biz picking is top stock biz picking. Each top stock section will have a label up for a location. We're gonna scan all that merchandise on the top stock and locate it to the floor, so that way we know where everything is. How we're gonna handle that process, I don't know yet.
So that's what I did at Menards. That's how theirs works. Exactly how theirs
Well-
works. They've got the top stock up there with a barcode. You scan that barcode, it tells you exactly what's up there.
Well, we still shamefully. So we take people's ideas, like the,
Oh, yeah, it's a
a
good
lot of
idea.
the ideas we've taken from Target and we've made it better. So, but we're gonna make it happen. But the main thing right now is let's get the back room in the right process. And you guys have done so good on thirds. You know, you guys get tons of kudos. And, you know, I'm gonna jump a little ahead of where I'm usually at this point is, you know, third shift is the first to be blamed and the last to be thanked.
Yep, it's true facts.
You know, I give you a little bit of my history. I've been with this company 32 years. 7.5 years I was an assistant manager, and probably 5 of those I spent on third shift. So I understand y'all's job. I'm too old to do it now. Sorry, I can't function on thirds. This 4 o'clock in the morning sucks. I am not a morning person. These guys know it. But you know, Tracy's invested in this, and I've invested in coming in early to help train you guys. But you guys will always be the first to be blamed and the last to be thanked. And it's a fact. And you guys do a lot of the grunt work in here on the freight. And I know it's these guys. David, you've been here how long? How long's it been since we've unloaded a truck?
Been a while.
How long's it been since we really had a lot of freight to work that's been left over from third shift?
Not been too bad.
Not bad at all, and you guys have made our jobs easier. I joke around all the time. I even asked Tracy yesterday, can I work from home? And she keeps telling me no, because my job is so easy with what they do and with what you guys do. So I want to first of all tell you guys thank you for what you do. But we just gotta fine tune things now. You know, there was a week a few months ago that they told us, you're gonna get a double truck every single day this week. Home office is so far behind in freight. You're gonna get double trucks. Plan for it now. We got single truck every night that week, and on Sunday we got a no truck. And then they told us, oh, you're gonna get a month where you're gonna get double trucks every Sunday. And every Sunday we got no trucks. So we're doing the right things. We just gotta fine tune things and take things to the next level, and that's what we wanted to do to take this side of the train. So what I need is we just gotta make sure we get the labels done correctly. And you know, there's gonna be times that coach is gonna come in and they're gonna give you a completely different direction than what I've said and what we've trained you on. We're gonna do it, then you guys kind of tell me, hey, Karen told me to do this, or hey, Michael told me to do this. I know this is not what you wanted, but this is what happened, and I go back to them. And I handle it on my end. Because Michael's all the time telling me, what are you gonna do, go tell mom on me? If I have to get Tracy involved, yes, I will.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're gonna run processes. It's very important to run the processes. So if you have any questions on the BizPick process, let me know. I don't know how much you know on
I'm
BizPick.
pretty good. It's pretty cool to see too, because when you hold the phone up, it lights up like a Christmas tree on what can go out. Then when you work an area and stuff, if you go back or even just run it on your overstock pallet and look and see, and it gives you an idea of maybe like what the hell's going on. So, I know I've showed some of you, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's good that, you know, like if you have an overstock pallet, just to BizPick it real quick, because you don't have to load it, you can BizPick it. Because anytime you create a label, it locates it into a 999999 bin, a fake bin. Just all it tells us that it's floating around in this building somewhere. And then after 18 hours, it dumps it out of that bin. But if you scan it and you got a pallet of overstock, you can scan it and it will tell you what I'm pulling right back out of the bin before you even put it in there. Because if it turns blue, it's coming right back out because I'm picking it. So you could cut that off at the pass and go, okay, let me find out what's going on. So if you guys come into BizPick pallets, if you come into, say you walk into that box right there, we're not gonna talk about the on-hander or the label itself, But if you come in and you see that box with BizPick, and you go out and you stock it, and you see that it doesn't go out, what do you do with that box?
You have to fix the count, all the product in the box and what's outside.
The on hands, check the on hands. That's one thing you do. And if the on hands is wrong, what do you do?
Correct them.
Correct them by pushing up.
Yep.
We don't push down. You don't push down because you don't know what's in a return cart. You guys don't have customers, but we have customers. We don't know what's in a customer's cart. We don't know what's in claims. We never push down because if you push down, guess what's going to happen in the morning? Don's coming in, he's getting into the accounts, he's going deny. You've just wasted your time pushing a count down. Always push up. If I see a count in there that's going up, I don't question it, I accept it. First meeting we had 2 days ago, David Braun was in here. I was looking at it, he had a bunch of walnuts in there.
Yeah, he's pretty,
He pushed them up and he's like, don't accept that. And I had already hit accept because he had put the wrong count in, he miscounted them. He's gonna fix it for us. But if it's going up, I'm accepting it. You know why I'm accepting it? Because that freight's not coming in the back door. So it slows it way down for you guys so you're not getting as much freight. So it's very important to push it up. So if you look at it and the on hand's right, then what's the next thing you do?
Check for a feature.
You can check on a feature, yep. See if it goes out on a feature.
Check your end caps.
Yep, features. What else?
Don't know.
What's the second thing you check?
shelf cap.
Bam, check the shelf cap. System could think that 24 will go on the shelf when the reality is only 12 go on the shelf. So you just lower that shelf cap down to 12, that box won't come back. What's the next thing you do? Shelf cap's right, on hand's right, won't go on the top stock, won't go on the shelf. What's the next thing you do? Simplest thing, reprint a label and send it to the back, put it in the bin. Because then that way when I come through, it should not BizPick again. If you fixed any of those items, it should not come out. Now, there is times that stuff will come out of the bin. That's this big notorious one that will pull stuff because the system will intentionally pick merchandise to go on the top stock. It's high moving volume items that need to be out on the floor that if Cap One's stocking, they can pull it down and fill it real quick for a customer. ODP can look up and pull it down for a customer. It's usually consumable areas that it does that, but it's not, pets is the biggest area. We're trying to fix that because there's not a lot of top stock room in pets, so we're trying to fix that now. So this pick process really simple. Like I said, if you scan your pallet and it turns blue, just kind of see what goes on. Pick it, put it out, see what you can do, see if you get it on top stock. That way you're not seeing it again. But we're seeing a lot less of stuff coming back out from you guys. And usually if there's a lot, it's probably a new associate who's not really familiar with the process, still learning an area. And I usually get with the third shift team leads and they're like, let me figure it out.
Yeah.
Don't worry, mine does that all day too.
It's so annoying.
So, that's all. Anybody got any questions on the BizPick process?
Yeah, sometimes I get, when I get BizPick, sometimes I don't have the counts, I'm missing like 2 or 3, and I have to take it all out and make sure it goes out or not. If it's full, I have to count all of it again just to make sure.
Right.
But a lot of it, I get no counts of it at all. It's mostly
Usually goes
missing.
out.
Mostly it goes out or I'm missing some. Cause I know we can't put none out. If it's full, you can put out 2, you can't put the whole thing, you know, you can't do that. Mostly lately, I've been getting them sometimes.
Right, and that's what I want to hear, is I want to hear that a lot of your BizPicks are going out. And if you're running into real issues on BizPick items, grab me in the morning. Usually give me a few minutes to walk the racetrack and walk the store, but grab me, grab David. David knows a lot about it. Chris,
Yeah, he's still learning.
he's still learning, he's new. But you can ask them. Erica, Logan is like, Logan knows the BizPick process, and he used to be a department manager, so he can really help you out. He's probably the #1 person on my team, Cap One, that knows the BizPick process and works it every day. So, but grab one of them or grab me, and we'll figure out the answer. Like I had Cap 2 grabbing me with some things. Why is this picking out? Why is this picking out? When we did the research, shelf cap was wrong, on hand was wrong, side counter was plugged, top stock was screwed up. There's all kinds of things. In one box they brought me, everything was wrong on it. So we fix it, and we didn't make that problem anymore. We try to solve the solution, solve the problems, make the solutions correct and get it right. So, but if you see us BizPicking, you got questions on BizPicking, stop me and ask me. And like I said, just give me that 10 minutes to walk the racetrack. My routine's pretty simple in the morning. I meet with them at 5 o'clock. I walk the racetrack. I come back here. I take care of attendance tracking. Day off request, I send my emails out on mods, cause I'm also running the mod team. But I'm always back here, so you can always come back here and grab me, and I'll always make time to help you guys out, because I want this process to be easy for you guys, because it makes my job easier too. So VizPick, if you have questions, or you see me going over the reports, because I go over it every morning, I can show you the reports, I can break it down and show you, I'll teach you whatever. The more information you guys have, the easier my job is. And like I told him yesterday, you know, I've been with your company 32 years. My goal is in about 17 years retiring, somebody's gonna be able to do this job. So I can't take this knowledge with me, and I'm not going to, because, you know, this is just the company I enjoy, and I enjoy doing what I do. So, but that's the VizPick process. What time is it? I gotta watch time because I'm out.
5:49.
Okay, so we got about 10, 11, 12 minutes. So, any question on VizPick? Okay, so the only other thing I wanna go over, and I expect these two to chime in quite a bit, because this is gonna be more of a discussion after we give basic information, is top stock. Top stock is the biggest opportunity we have in this building, because it's always messed up, and it's not by you guys, it's not by these guys. I will blame grocery on cap too, and I'll tell them that too, because they're the only ones that stock cap grocery. But it's also second shift zoners who are throwing stuff up there, cashiers who don't know where something goes, they're throwing it on top stock, pushing stuff back. Whenever you're working the top stock, does anybody know what the top stock process is? I expect two people to know what the top stock process is. What's top stock supposed to be done? How's it supposed to look? What's the rules?
So many questions.
The UPC has to be,
I was gonna say
the
barcode
UPC has
face
to, sorry.
UPC out,
So,
correct.
let's say you have, that Febreze is overstock, so we're gonna put it up on top stock before we put an overstock label. So where it goes, it has to go within the first 4 feet section of that shelf to the, we can do it to the left or to the right now, can't we?
Yeah.
And make sure your UPCs is facing out, so when they come by or any, you know, we can scan it, don't have to move it around. It has to be the same UPC going back, and it can only be one case up on the top stock.
And if you put the top stock up, don't put this whole box up. Pick your out box and set it.
Yeah.
Because we come across that a lot.
Or yeah,
Or
or
in
plastic,
plastic like
that's
that.
another good one.
Mhm. And
Oh, I hate it when they do that. They throw the damn gloves in there, like, and I take them out of the package all the time. I hate that.
I know, like some of our top stock areas, we have like plastic dividers in front wall, you'll see that crash, you'll see that a lot. If you're putting stuff in the top stock there, like you can have 3 UPCs in, what would they call them?
Tray.
Yeah, our trays, but it can't be, like, let's say you have 3 different items, it can't be going all back together, so one UPC is all the way back, the other one's all the way back, then the next set's all the way back. So when inventory comes and we count it, it's just short and sweet and we know what we have.
I know the biggest opportunity that we run across is there's merchandise behind merchandise, because somebody is just kind of tiptoeing it up on the top shelf and just shoving it up, and then the next thing you know, they push everything back and it's all the way behind. It's different merchandise up there. We got top stock cards, they're empty, 95% of the time they're empty. You guys leave them empty, we leave them empty when we leave. I know they unload trucks with them, but there's always top stock cards. Just use those top stock cards, because they got a ladder built on it. That way you can reach it and just make sure it's up there right and straight. I know like in pets, we find canned food stacked on top of other canned food. It's gotta be the same type all the way up. If you need to take it out of that tray, take it out of the tray and stack it. You can stack more back and higher. You can go, 24 inches on the top stock?
I usually go like elbow to my wrist, that's
Yeah.
like you said.
I think it's about 24 inches, you can stack it on there. But it's just very important that we keep it lined up. It can be the section to the left or the section to the right. What are you doing?
I think it was usually it's to the top of that sign, you know, they have the sign on there.
Okay. Usually the rule of thumb is 24 inches, so.
Isn't that how the reason why the magnet bar
Yes.
is the same length?
Yes.
It has to be that height.
Yes, and I think a lot of them, there's a few of those on top stock carts.
Yeah.
But just use your rule of thumb, make sure it's stacked safe, it's not in a case. We just gotta make sure that top stock, cause that's the biggest issue that, you know, we can't do the projects that we do if we have to go back and fix top stock all the time, and that's the biggest opportunity, and that's one of the reasons why we're having meetings with everybody, is because top stock is such a critical thing. And then we don't count that for inventory. The sales for people, the inventory crew comes in and counts that. So we wanna make sure it's easy as possible, because if stuff is stuck behind things up there, they don't care. They have no, I'm telling you, the inventory crew has no vested interest in here. They only make more money in here if they count it faster. So if they count it faster, that doesn't mean they have to count it accurate. We want them to count it accurate because that's gonna affect our replenishment. If there's 4 or 5 things up there and they count it all as the same, and we don't catch it inventory day when we're doing the fixing of it, then you're getting a truckload of freight that we don't even need. And then we spend all the time fixing things that they should have fixed when they were doing the inventory. So we wanna make it as easy as possible for them. Yes, we wanna make it easy for them to count, quick to count, because then we get them out of here, get our stuff done, and we get out of here. But if it's not right, and if it's not zoned, they don't care. They get paid the same. I actually think the counters get more money the faster they count. So they just wanna get done and get out of here, and they don't care if it's right. They don't care if they count the whole side counter as the same UPC. They're out of here, they don't have to fix it. And we have a lot of checks and balances where we're checking them all day long to make sure they're counting correctly, because 3 mistakes, they're sitting on the bus for the rest of the day not getting paid. And we can challenge any person's counting, but we wanna make it as easy as possible. A lot of the mistakes on inventory days because we didn't prep correctly. We didn't make sure the same UPC, like, I'm always notorious for telling electronic game cases, because we got video games in there, and we don't break it down and look that it's a PlayStation 4 versus a PlayStation 5. One, there's a different dollar value,
Yeah.
but two, it's different usage, different UPCs, different consoles. 3 weeks later, now I got all these PS5 games when I already got 30 of them because Madden released, and I didn't count Madden, I counted them all as PS4. So, but we just wanna make sure that that's accurate, and the top stock is the biggest part of that. And that's probably the biggest opportunity in this building that we need a lot of help from third shift on, is making sure we're doing that top stock accurately. But that's about the 2 things that we wanted to talk about. It's also on one of the building, the reason I made sure Cap 1 was in here is I wanna build that liaison between second and first. Because I don't want, I said it a long time ago, I don't wanna hear they talk about Cap 1, Cap 2, Cap 3, because we're all the same Cap team, because we are. The only thing Cap 1 means is that means they work first shift, Cap 2 means they work second shift, Cap 3 means they work third shift, but we're all the same Cap team, and we all gotta work together.
We're all a team.
Huh?
We're all a team.
Right. And we're all dealing with the freight, so, and the reason I made the mod team come in here, because they're dealing with freight, so we're gonna do this right, and, you know, if you guys have questions, ask me. If you, something you need them to do, say, hey, David, you know, Jason's big every day, and Braxton can tell you, he's catching me back here every day, he's like, hey, I need you to blitz out the top stock and pets, it's a mess. Okay, and I tell him, I'm not gonna get to it today, because I've already planned my day, but I will get to it before he comes back. Well, Captain One's gonna be working on the top stock and pets today, because Jason's back, tonight?
Oh, yeah, he's back tonight.
And I committed to it, and if I commit to you, it may take me time to get to it, but it will happen. We tend to make things happen. You know, I know, David asked me, and I'm working on it for you guys in the coolers when we do viz picks to separate what goes to the floor
Yes.
versus what stays in the cooler. The drinks that you can stock from inside needs to be separated. I told him I will work on that for you guys.
That helps us a lot too,
Right.
because we just separate
You
what,
guys hear me on that, 'cause I hadn't gotten.
it helps us out.
Right, that's what I gotta work with them on, because they're used to doing, like,
Yeah.
on the GM side, they came to me, Krista came to me and said, hey, is there any way you could separate everything by department? And I told her right away, absolutely not, that's not happening. Because some bins, sporting goods, we may only pull 1 box out of it, and I'm not creating a pallet for 1 box. So we negotiated and we agreed on that we would separate home lines from hard lines. Simple, easy, I just gotta teach my people and tell them, hey, this is what we wanna do. Like the back hall, this whole back hall is always on the same pallets, because we just, between stationery, pets, paper goods, chemicals, infants, it's always out of that thing, that's it. Doesn't benefit us to create 4 pallets, so, but we are working on that for you guys. Unfortunately, in frozen, we don't do anything in frozen. Don, this big's frozen, we,
Hopefully you guys don't get that double waterfall plastic like frozen and, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that
That-
plastic.
That thing's so
That double
annoying.
waterfall, that causes so much problem.
Yeah, when
I know what
when
you're talking about.
So if you walk through the frozen doors, remember, like if you go through the dairy, you got that real nice one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the frozen, you have 2
Two,
now,
right.
and they're stiff plastic.
Right.
So not only can we not build our actual pallets
high.
up, we have to build it as half pallets, and even then, when you're pulling that through there, it
And
knocks
you
off.
pushing it in, it's
So
just
we're
like
dealing
throwing
with
it
having to
everywhere.
pick product up, having
I don't like
to
it.
loss
Yeah.
of product, that's.
When you're
like,
pulling it out, man,
Yeah.
those things
It's
are
a
so,
pain.
Yeah.
there's 2 layers of them, they're heavy, they smack you right in the face.
Yeah, I don't go in, I know they're in there, but I don't go in
But
there.
yeah, that's a new thing, and
Yeah.
I get it, you know, corporate looked at the piece of paper, said this is gonna cut costs on energy, it's gonna keep the food colder, but they
Yeah.
didn't take into account the loss of product that's gonna be caused from knocking boxes knocked over. That's why there's been so much dunnage and frozen. Like, that's why those things are so full, is because every time we pull a pallet in, or a pallet goes in,
Yeah, but if you have
Something-
damage in frozen, what are you doing with your damage in frozen?
I put it into the little black,
Wrong answer.
what do you do with it?
Yeah, I'll cleanse it out.
You
Yeah.
take it to your team leads.
Oh,
Automatically take it to
okay.
your team leads, because we're not, each shift is supposed to take care of their own damage.
Ah,
So
okay,
you
so
take
where
it to
would
your team
that
lead.
go?
You
In
give it
that
to
case.
me and I'll claims it out, and then when I claims it out, we dispose of it where it needs to go.
So I just gather, roll it up in
Certain
a
team
cart.
Yeah.
leads,
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
just
say,
gather
All your
Anybody,
overnight
so
team leads get
put
it.
it anywhere.
My team is supposed to bring it to me, but I built such a good relationship with Debbie. We just take it to Debbie, and she still takes care of it,
actually,
but
Well, knowing
Sarah,
that,
So
I'm
I'll
gonna
show you
start.
guys,
yeah,
dairy and
what we could
frozen.
also,
Sarah, she takes care of our food claims, but if Sarah's never in,
yeah.
just get a grocery cart and put any of your claims in the grocery cart, then let me know where it is, and me and Krista, we take care of claims at the end of my, I
They're
know our
very good
GM
about it.
claims, we throw them in the compactor over there, and dairy claims, certain goes in dairy, then there's other claims that goes in frozen.
gotcha, I was thinking, since
I
they,
hate to say certain team leads.
well, since we have four of the
Alright.
black containers and.
'Cause I'm always
area,
filling a grocery
we
cart up
dedicate
with
one for
I'm
like
always
one
filling up
shift
the
each
grocery
night
cart.
that
Okay.
falls out, and then we can just take that to you, and claims it out, and then we'll just run it back.
You just give it to me,
That
'cause I
way,
got
yep.
scanned stuff and.
Exactly,
so
that way
we
at
get
the end of the
credit for
night,
it.
after all the freight's done, everything's moved out, we can just bring you back one tote, it's still frozen, not thawed out, not leaking.
That makes
You
it
can
easy.
scan it out, toss it away, and we'll take the thing back to the.
Alright, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
Like,
don't. It doesn't-
and again, like, I've been putting that in there because, again,
right, and that's part of why we want to have these conversations, and that's why part of why I moved to this side of the room is because as us, I'm saying Cap One, what would you need from us? And we as Cap One, what we need from you. This is the part where we transition to that communication stage, because we don't, how many times, and I know some of you guys have been here years, how many times, how long have you been here, Dustin? 5 years, how many times have you had a third shift meeting where we've broken down training?
First time.
And that's what Walmart does. Here's your keys, here's your job, here's your phone,
Good luck.
good luck.
And some of them don't ask you to like if you have to use the computers, oh, you can do that later, but this is more important.
that really doesn't.
I
that
mean,
really
I do
doesn't
understand
endorse
that
teamwork.
products is more important, but
Like the other
then when
day,
you got,
Nate was like, I
you know,
didn't think
75 and you're stuck here doing this and you're like, you need to get it done. I was like, I can't stay on the screen too long, man. You know,
Right.
My, it hurts my eyes being on there for 2 hours. I can't do it.
And, right, and like you were saying, there's no training, and that's what Tracy is, like, when she's gotten here, she's big about training. Teach, 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 teach.
Yeah.
We've got that support now, where we don't, it's like stock, 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 stock.
Yeah.
And she wants everybody to do it right. Let's do it right, let's do it right the first time, so we're not doing it over and over again.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if you start out slow doing something the correct way, you're gonna get faster at doing it correctly than if you start out doing it wrong, and then you're just gonna continue to do it wrong.
Right.
You'd rather take it a little bit slower and do it correctly at 100%, and then you'll build the speed,
Right.
you know?
And she's committed to that training, that's why I'm
Yeah.
here. If she wasn't committed to it, I wouldn't be here at 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been here at 5. So, and that's what one of the things I do like about Tracy is she wants the store ran right. And I mean, she puts a lot of empowerment into, even though as a team lead,
Yep.
she empowers her team leads. I'm telling you, I make decisions that even assistant managers don't make in here. Because one, that's my experience, but two, she trusts me to make the right decision. As a Cap One team, what do you guys need from us? And if you can't think of anything, not a big deal, you can always grab me later.
Yeah.
Anything you guys need from us?
No, I can't really think of nothing at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cause we're here to take over when you guys leave.
This is mostly second shift leaving the trash and
Oh,
like when you throw your box there, I'll tell them, when you're done, leave it down. Why? It makes it, when you leave it down for so long, the boxes don't close up. And one of them gets the attitude with me, I'll walk away because I'll snap.
That's when you get their name on their name badge
Yeah.
and you let me know. Cause I'm rude.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
I'm
yeah, they'll
rude
chuck
too.
all their
You
cardboard
know-
in there and they won't pull the thing down
Yeah.
and smash it down.
It's
They
just
just leave it.
easier. Just
Yeah.
smash it, don't, like when they're ready to leave, they leave their trash, when they leave, the box is full. All it's time to leave, they leave their trash, their plastic, and we get blamed for the top stock being
well,
full.
let me ask you two something, because you've been frozen. How many empty boxes did y'all run through with the broccoli florets?
Oh,
and
you're
all of
talking,
that
you're
down the
talking
aisle,
about when
the
we go
pizza
in to do that?
boxes?
Yeah, there's
There
tons
is
of
no
empty
zoning.
boxes
No zoning
throughout
being
the
done in frozen
vegetables
cap
and the
too.
pizzas all the time.
I'm not joking with you. I spend no
What?
less than 40 minutes walking those aisles, breaking down those boxes, and I guarantee you I'll get a cart and a half every night of cardboard. And that's broken down cardboard.
And I know that process is gonna get fixed
Yeah.
because, let me give
Yeah, that
you,
makes it
I don't know if
easy.
you've heard, but here in about a month or so, you're about to be stocking the HVDC trucks.
I have no clue what that is, so.
That's your grocery trucks.
Yeah, we
Oh.
get all the
All
grocery,
stocking
all the
will be
GM,
done on
every
Thursday.
single thing.
And when that switches to you,
Yeah.
Cap 2 is now responsible 100% for the zone of the building.
Ah, that'd be nice.
So
That'll save
that-
time.
But we've gotta get to that process. And
Yeah.
That's what Tracy wants to get to. I know she keeps pushing it back. The deadline was January 1st, now it's, I don't know what it is.
April 13th now,
April
or
13th.
April 1st, I think Krista said.
Yeah, it's coming to you guys, so that way they can focus on the zone and those things should fix themselves.
So we got, not much longer.
That'd be
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's coming. So just to give you a heads up on that. I know the biggest things we
Irene
need
Ryan.
from you guys is just top stock. That's the biggest thing, and then of course labels being done correctly. But labels, that is minimum now. And that just takes time of teaching and training and saying, okay, let's slow down and let's make sure the labels are right. So, but the biggest thing is top stock, isn't it?
No,
Top stock.
And I also did mention to Scott about the frozen. We're gonna try to get the overstock back into the actual locations. Like the overstock or the backstock area. I talked to Scott about it, and Michael said that the next time we don't have a truck or something like that, he said that he'd be more than happy to let me or Scott or whoever go in there and start shifting some things around to actually get it done. You know, this aisle goes in this bin, this aisle to this bin, instead of just walking in, putting it wherever, because that's what I walked into, so that's just what I
Right.
continue.
And I'm trying to get that first section fixed.
Yeah, on the
one
left
you guys
side with
don't-
the meat.
Yeah, the meat, that you guys
Yeah.
don't do,
Yeah,
because
I
it's
don't.
It's meat's job.
Yeah, I was told do not put anything in that first section on the left that is only for meat, nothing else.
I'm trying to get that
But
fixed.
I did talk to, like I said, I've talked to Scott because it's usually either me or Scott. This is the first night that either me or Scott's not been in Frozen.
Right.
But as far, like I talked to Michael about it, and he said he's more than happy to, for us to start doing that, start trying to transition it, just as a, that way, it'll make more sense for y'all, you walk in there, aisle 6, 7, second bay on the left,
Yeah, that section just drives me crazy, and I told Tracy I wanna walk with her,
Yeah,
and that's part of what I wanna walk with her, because I know who's responsible for that, so.
Can't really do
I got you.
Alright, anything else?
No.
Alright, I gotta get you guys back out there, because the next crew's coming in here in about 15 minutes. I appreciate you guys, thank you.